Hey guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com. Today we're going to be learning Waimanalo Blues, which was originally recorded by Country Comfort, but this arrangement is based off of a live version featuring Israel K and Henry Capono. So I want you guys to check out that recording first and then come back and we're going to learn this tune. And that way you can get a good reference on what I based the song off of, or this arrangement off of. So with that said, this is going to be part one of the lesson. And in part one, we're going to be learning the complete intro, which is basically identical to what they played for their live recording. And then we're also going to be learning the first 8 bars of the verse. Now, if you guys want to learn the rest of the tune, you can do so at rockclass101.com. You can also get the complete tabs to print off and follow along with. And there's also an on-screen tab viewer, which literally lets you hit play with the YouTube video or just the audio of the uke. And you can watch the tab scroll across in real time. You can highlight bars, you can loop them, you can slow them down to whatever speed you want. It's just a great asset in learning this tune that much quicker. So all of that's available at rockclass101.com. So let's go ahead and kick into this lesson, and we're going to start off with that intro. So let's talk about the chords that we're playing in the intro first. Now the key of this song is G, so we're going to kick off with the 1 chord in the key. So we've got G, and it's just that basic stock G chord, and we're going to be going to an F chord, and it's going to be the same thing, just the basic F, and then to the basic C, right? So again, we just have G, then we have F, C, and then G again. Then we have F, C, G, and then again F, C, and then we're gonna have D, right? So D again is that stock D chord, but if you're not familiar with it, it's second, 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 open first string, right? And I like to use second finger, third finger, fourth finger. And the thing with here, the tricky part is we're going from this D major to a D sus4. So my pinky is going to go up a half step to the 3rd fret on string 2. And then it slides back to D. So we're alternating between D to the D sus4 and then back to the D, right? So the whole intro is 8 bars. We have bar 1, 3, 4, F, C, that's in bar 2, bar 3, G, bar 4, F, C, bar 5, G, bar 6, F, C. So bar 7 is when we go to D, and then we're going to have for bar 8, D sus4, back to D. Okay, so there's a quick rundown of the chords we're using for that 8-bar intro. All right, so let's kick into this intro. And the first and the second bar are actually going to be identical to the 3rd and the 4th bar. So basically, if you learn it once, you've got it for the repeat. There's only one little key difference, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. So let's go ahead and just play the first 2 bars and then break it down. So it sounds like this: 3, 4, 2. Okay? So basically what we hear is that we're incorporating a few muted hits for the first bar, and then for the second bar, we're incorporating slaps into our rhythm. And a slap basically is when I take the palm of my hand, and also the tips of my fingers right here. I like to keep a claw shape kind of like that, and hit the body of the uke, but directly on top of the strings. And the reason I do that is because it allows my right hand fingers to be ready to engage in either plucking or strumming or finger picking. That's opposed to if I was to slap like up here or down here, then I got to reposition my hand to play whatever's coming next. So I would really recommend, if you're new to slapping, just to keep it directly on top of the strings, and don't slap like this, don't like high five it, you know. Keep it in this shape so you're ready to pluck right after that slap. So let's break down bar 1. We're just going to take that G chord. We're going to pluck all 4 strings. I'm using thumb, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. So thumb, 1st, 2nd, 3rd finger. I'm just going to pluck that G, and then I'm going to mute the strings. So just take your left hand, touch the strings, and we're going to do 2 hits down for mutes. So our first chord is a half note. We have 1, 2, slap, slap. right? And those slaps are quarter notes, so they're beat 3 and 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's all there is to bar 1. After that, we're going to the F to the C, right? So here's what that bar sounds like again. Okay, so we have make a basic F chord. You're going to go strum and then play string 1 by itself, followed by a slap that's on beat 2. Quickly go to a C chord and pluck the C. So we have F, strum 1, slap, pluck the C, hold the C chord, and then hit string 1 by itself and follow it by a slap again. So we have strum 1, slap, pluck, 1, slap, right? And if I call out the rhythms, you hear that slaps on beats 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, right? Again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And if I call it out again, strum 1, slap, pluck, 1, slap. Now that slap was on 4, the second one, right? So the end of 4, you're going to go quickly back to a G and pluck the G chord and just hold it out into the next bar. So remember I said there was one key little difference between bar 1 and 2 and bar 3 and 4. And here's where that difference is. You're going to hit the G before bar 3. So it's on the end of 4 for bar 2, and you hold it into the third bar. So let's do this. Let's play it into context, bars 1 through 4, and let's hear how that variation fits in. So again, bars 1 through 4. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So you can notice that it's just hitting right before the 1 beat for when you go to bar 3. And the same thing actually happens right before the 1 beat when you go to bar 5. So we're just hitting that G note or that G chord early. So there's the key difference. So the first bar of the song just starts on beat 1. But every time after that, for that G, you're hitting it early, so you're hitting on the end of 4. Okay, so let's kick into bar 5 and 6. And bar 5, we're starting again on that G, but it hit right before the beat. And bar 5 is when we actually start to vamp on that chord. We're starting to put a rhythm into it. So I'll play from bar 4 into bar 5, and let's get a little context of how we're gonna be strumming that G chord. Okay, let's slow it down. So bar 4 again to 5. Right, so we're just kind of keeping with that same 2 and 4 for our slap, and we're just incorporating strums and adding accents on string 1. Okay, so again, remember that you're starting on the end of 4 for bar 4. We're going to pluck that chord early, that G chord early. So we have 3 and 4, pluck, right? On the end of 4, hold it out. So we're holding that G out. We have 1 and, so we're hitting string 1, followed by a slap and a pluck. So again, we have 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and, right? So it's pluck, string 1, slap, pluck. And I'm just staying on that G. The whole bar stays on that G. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so same kind of concepts as before, where we're bouncing between string 1, the slaps, and plucking that chord, right? Again, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you can see on the very last note after that slap, I have an open first string. So I have pluck, string 1, slap, pluck, string 1, slap, open, right? So that's what I'm playing. Again, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so again, let's put it in context. Bar 4 and 5, we have. Okay, so bar 6 is actually going to be the same as bar 4. You have F, C, and then the only difference is that on the last beat, you have an open first, so that's on the end of 4. So that open on the end of 4 actually sets us up to go into the D to the D sus4 for bar 7 and 8. So let's go ahead and just play bar 7 and 8 and then break it down. So we have. Okay, so that's what it sounds like. Slow it down. Okay, so basically I've got a staggered hit for the first chord. So what I'm doing is I'm taking pinky, third, second, first, just flicking one at a time. It gives me a cool little stagger sound instead of just one simple strum. So I've got... So it's a little bit of a tricky technique. Just work on it. Try and get each finger to be independent one at a time. But it's a cool sound that incorporates well in tunes like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that staggered hit and then come up and hit string 1. So I have strum 1, follow it by a slap and a pluck of the D. So I've got strum 1, slap, pluck, 1. So same kind of thing as before. Strum 1, slap, pluck, 1, slap. After that, move it up to the sus, so your pinky's on the 3rd fret of string 2. Pluck that, and we're going to keep going. We have 1, slap, move it back to D, pluck, and follow it by 2 taps. So let's put that in context so we can hear how it's supposed to sound. Strum 1, slap, pluck, 1, slap, sus, 1, slap, D, tap, tap. Okay, again. Okay, so D, sus, D, tap, tap. Okay, so a little tricky, but not too bad, and try and feel that beat to keep it going steady. So now we've got all 8 bars for the intro. So let's go ahead and just play through all of it, and then let's move on to the verse. Okay, so here's all 8 bars for our intro. 3, 4. Okay, so there's everything for our intro. So let's go ahead and kick into our verse. Okay, so I'm going to play the first 8 bars for the verse, and then we're going to break it down. So here's what it sounds like. Okay, so we can hear there's a ton of similarity, so a lot of repetition happened, but there's some variations that occur too. So let's break down just the first 4 bars at a time, and then we'll talk about the next 4. So starting with bar 1, we are playing out of a G chord, and we've got a little hammer-on lick, so it's kind of cool. And again, we've got a slap on beat 2 for this first bar. So here's what the first bar sounds like. Alright, so basically taking that G chord, lift your middle finger up, you're going to do a strum, and then a hammer on with that middle finger to that 2nd fret. So that's all on string 1. Follow it by a slap and a pluck, and then we can actually do a strum of the G after. So we have hammer on, slap, pluck, strum. Again. Followed by lifting that middle up again, playing string 1 open, and then putting it back down and doing a strum. Okay, again. Hammer on, slap, pluck, strum, open first, strum. Okay, you're holding that G out just like we did in the intro, and then you're going to do a pull off 2 to 0 on string 1, and then open 4 followed by a tap right on the top of the ukulele's body. So it sounds like that. Again, slower, we have... Okay, so that gives us our first couple bars. After that, we're kicking into the D chord. And you see it takes us back to the G chord. So from D, what we're going to do is we're going to go strum 1, slap, and that's on beat 2. And then we're going to go 2 to 3 on string 1. So we could use our ring finger, or we could use our pinky finger. So it's up to you, whichever one's easier. I like to use my pinky. So again, I have strum 1, slap, 2 to 3, and then 2 on string 2 with my middle finger. Again. Right, so I have strum 1, slap 2 to 3, then 2 on string 2, and then kick it back to that G. So it's kind of like the same rhythms as we did before. Strum, slap, pluck, 1 slap, open first, So in the same vein as what we had done before with those rhythms. So again, we have the D to the G, so this is bar 3 and 4 of the verse. Okay, so let's tie bars 1 through 4 for the verse. Okay, so now bars 5 through 8 for the verse, they're going to be very similar. There's just a little bit of variation going on. So here's what it sounds like. Okay, so bar 5 is actually identical to the first bar for that verse. So you're playing the same thing with that hammer on, slap, pluck, strum, open, strum of the G. So all based in the G, identical bar. So the next bar is where the variation happens. You're going to add your pinky to the 3rd fret of string 1, play that note, pull off to 2, which is your middle finger, then pull off to open string 1. So we have, right, and then followed up by string 4 open and a tap. So again, right, and real slow. Okay, so that's what we get. And then the next bar, this one's identical to the D that we had played. So you're doing the same thing, strum 1, slap 2 to 3, and then 2 on string 2, and then taking it back to G to a G7. So we have strum, slap, pluck, a G7. And a G7 is open 4, 2nd fret, 1st fret, 2nd fret. So I'm using middle finger, index, and ring for that G7. So again, I have strum, slap, G7, which is a pluck. Strum, slap, pluck, 1, slap. So again, I have strum, slap, pluck, 1, slap, right? And just playing string 1 before that slap. Okay, and that completes our 8th bar for the verse. So again, let's kick it from bar 5 through 8, and then we're going to play 1 through 8 for the verse. So here we go. Okay, and then all the way through 1 through 8 for the verse. Okay, so that's what we get for the entire verse. And now, guys, we've got the intro down plus the first 8 bars of the verse. So if you guys enjoyed this lesson, you can learn the rest of the song at rockclass101.com. And you can also get the complete tabs to print off. It's so much easier to learn these songs with the tabs in front of you. So you can see the rhythms, you can see the hits, you can see the slaps, you can see everything that's happening as we go through it bar by bar. And you can also get access to that on-screen tab viewer, which literally plays back the tab in real time. So it's super cool for learning, and you can really see it, and you can highlight bars, loop it, slow it down. It's just a great asset for learning this song that much quicker. So again, all of that's at rockclass101.com. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.